The only way you can achieve your dream life is if you're transforming, is if you're changing. And I don't buy this whole thing where people are like, you've changed in a negative way. It's like, yeah, I'm supposed to change. Like, you are supposed to change in order to reach your highest timeline. Like, I look at myself 3 years ago, I am a completely different person than the woman I was 3 years ago. Ask yourself, how much have I changed this year? And what if the level of which you've changed is your success? If you're transforming, if you're changing, let's say you haven't achieved any of your goals this year, but if you're changing and transforming, you have won, my friend. Hey, y'all. Welcome back to Reel It In. I'm your host, Reed Cox, and this is your go-to destination for self-improvement and creating the life you've always desired, all while keeping it real. And today we're switching things up a little bit. So I was going to make a video for y'all today all about the first trimester of pregnancy. However, I did wake up a little bit under the weather, but in the name of consistency, I thought I'd still show up and do a little video with y'all where we just do a little chit chat and I talk about a myriad of topics from the comfort of my own bedroom. If you missed last week's video, I'll go ahead and link it up top. I announced that I am pregnant with our first child. We are so excited, and it has just been an absolute whirlwind. I am finally in the second trimester. Thank God. The first trimester was pretty gnarly, but we are super grateful and super excited. And on top of just being pregnant, there are so many life changes thrown at you all at once you find out you're pregnant. Like, I got my lemon water and honey. Like, not only is your body changing so much, but you just have a myriad of emotions, like planning for the future. Also, like, you're saying goodbye to your old self and welcoming in your new self. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that. But starting off, so this video is coming out the day before November 1st. We have 2 months left of the year. And I don't know about y'all, but does November 1st always feel like a big kick in the butt? Like, the realization that we only have 2 months left of the year is so real. And around this time of year, I always feel this pressure just to like go real hard and level up and make sure all my goals are accomplished by the end of the year. And if you watch this channel regularly, you'll see I do a lot of videos on goal setting, on going after your dreams, because I'm literally obsessed with that kind of content. But the pressure is so real. The pressure to accomplish all my goals paired with the reality that I am growing a human being inside me is such a head trip, because I really want to achieve all my goals and I don't want to have to give any of those up when I become a mom. But I also have to remember that so much of my energy is going to taking care of myself and growing this baby and doctor's appointments and just like taking care of myself in general. And it just made me realize if I don't achieve all of my goals by the end of this year, it is totally fine. You know why? Because I am changing. I, Reed, am transforming. And if I'm transforming, that's the biggest gift of all. The only way you can achieve your dream life is if you're transforming, is if you're changing. And I don't buy this whole thing where people are like, you've changed in a negative way. It's like, yeah, I'm supposed to change. Like, you are supposed to change in order to reach your highest timeline. Like, I look at myself 3 years ago, I am a completely different person than the woman I was 3 years ago. I lived in a different city. I've actually moved twice to 2 different states in that amount of time. I'm now married. I'm a homeowner. We have a baby on the way. What I want is different in my life. That's the biggest trip. Like, wanting different things in life, changing your mind about what you want in life can sometimes be a hard pill to swallow, because what you used to want in life is sometimes connected to your identity. Like, when I was living in LA pursuing my acting career, that was it. That was the end all be all. I gave up everything for my career. And then I met my husband, and then the writer's strike started and the actor's strike started. I was on strike. I couldn't even work. So I was forced to explore my other talents and my other interests. I started a blog. I started this YouTube channel. I started sharing more honestly and authentically about myself. I wasn't waiting for someone to hire me to play a character to feel like I was having some form of self-expression. And it wasn't even real self-expression because I was playing another character. But I wouldn't have actually gone after and explored my other interests had the writer's strikes not happened, which was the worst case scenario at the time. In hindsight, it was the biggest blessing. But all that to say, I want different things now. I want a family. I want a career that is fulfilling and helps people and changes people's lives and inspires people. Something that I wake up every morning and it is completely within my control whether I work or not that day. With acting, you're just waiting for the phone to ring. You're waiting for someone to choose you. And just being in a career where you're waiting for someone to choose you, it's not healthy. It's not healthy when it comes to your image of yourself, your self-worth. And when I actually started to separate myself from the identity that I had, which was just I'm an actress and that was it, when I started to separate myself from that and I started to realize that I had so much more to offer, that's when I actually became happy. Which brings me to the fact that I'm in such shock that I am so happy in my life right now. Like 3 years ago, if you told me that I would be happy having moved back to my hometown, well, it's now a city, it's a huge city. But if you told me that I'd be happy having moved back to my hometown, buying a house with a white picket fence and being married, about to give birth to a baby, we got a long way to go, but basically pregnant, I would have been like, that sounds terrible. That sounds awful. Please, God, no, you know? And now I'm in this position. I'm like, oh my God, I've never been happier. So I know this is a bit of a tangent, but all of this to say, you never know what circumstances in life are going to bring you the most happiness. Your worst fear could actually be your biggest blessing. You could find yourself in a place in life where you're like, how did I end up here? But all of a sudden, you are the happiest you've ever been. I am proof of that. So if you're in a place in life where you have no idea where you're going, you are a bit lost, you're a bit confused, you don't know how you got where you are, you have no idea what's next, just trust that it's all working out. I promise you, because if I can end up in this place and be happy, you can too. And what's also so great about these new career paths I have, I have my Substack blog, which is the first thing I started. I started my blog on Substack, I think July 2 years ago. And it really just opened up this door inside me that I didn't know was locked, that was just craving to be opened. And after that, I started my YouTube channel. I started sharing more on TikTok, and so many amazing opportunities have come through because of that. And I know there are even more to come, but just knowing that I have control over my career, a certain level of control over my career, this new aspect of my career that I didn't have with acting. I'm still acting. I'm still auditioning, even though things are like way slower than they were before COVID. I'm still acting. I'll always be an actor. But just having this other thing that I do that makes me feel so fulfilled and opens up so many opportunities for me, it's really exciting, and I'm really proud of myself. So if you've ever had this like urge inside to start something new, whether it's a blog or a YouTube channel or a business of any kind, if you've ever wanted to put yourself out there in a way and you're just a bit too afraid, or you're just procrastinate a little bit too much, just know there's so much for you on the other side of you just jumping off the cliff and going for it. I mean, I have been overseas in Europe and met with other writers I met on Substack. I have been interviewed for a huge magazine publication because someone found my YouTube channel. I get gifting all the time from brands, and that I don't even reach out to. They just find me. I'm starting to get partnerships. Like, so much growth is happening. And to bring it back full circle, it's like, I don't want to let that go when I have a kid. I want just to have it keep growing. And for me, last week's video talking about the fact that we're expecting our first child, that was like my jumping off the cliff moment, sharing that we're pregnant, because my shadow self was afraid that, oh, once I have a kid, then I won't be able to keep pursuing my career. I made a video about a year ago, and I'll link that above as well, where I talked pretty honestly about this pressure that I felt to be successful before we had a child. And I got so many messages about that from women all over the world, really, saying that they felt the exact same way. Either they felt the exact same way in the moment, or they already have kids and they said that they agree that they felt the exact same way before they had kids. And then once they had kids, they said it just made everything better. So I'm trying to remember that because I know that kids are just going to make everything more colorful and everything more fun and crazy and inspiring if I let it. So I think it's all about just reframing what you believe is possible for your life to look like. And also not being afraid to pivot. For example, today, I was going to make the video about the first trimester. I actually released a Substack blog today about the first trimester. It's called What They Don't Tell You About the First Trimester because it is pretty shocking. But I released that today. And I was going to make a video, basically like a video version of that blog post. And then, of course, I woke up feeling under the weather and I was like, I want to pour my all into this video. I don't want to half-ass it. So I'm going to pivot and make a video about something else. I don't know what it's going to be about. Maybe I just ramble in front of the camera for 20 minutes. Being able to pivot and not overthink it and not beat up on myself if the video isn't as high quality as I wanted it to be, but to consistently show up and pour into this platform and pour into this career that I'm creating for myself. That is what matters. And at the end of the year, if I can look back and say, I gave it my all, I gave everything my all, and I was honest and I was vulnerable and I let it all hang out, then that is my definition of success for this year. Oh, my cat has decided to join us. Hey, Isabella. Hey, sweet girl. So I know that was a lot coming at y'all, but all of this to say, I feel like I've said the phrase all of this to say like 20 times in this video, but all of this to say, that's 21. If you're looking at your life here in November 2025 and you see the next 2 months of the year and you're like, oh gosh, like how am I going to achieve all my goals? Or like, I'm so behind. Ask yourself, how much have I changed this year? Ask yourself, how much have I changed this year? And what if the level of which you've changed is your success? Because I personally believe that change and self-transformation is the best currency you have. It is your value. It is your ability to grow and stretch yourself and challenge yourself and put yourself in situations that are scary. If you're transforming, if you're changing, let's say you haven't achieved any of your goals this year, but if you're changing and transforming, you have won, my friend. So whatever you're doing in life, just make sure you're showing up every day honestly and authentically, and you're willing to fail and you're willing to grow. I was talking about this with my husband last night, how if you're not willing to fail, you're never going to be successful. You're never going to grow and you're never going to make anything of yourself, because if you're too afraid to make a complete ass of yourself, the more willing you are to embarrass yourself and the more willing you are to fail, the stronger you are. I don't want to work with someone who's afraid to take risks or afraid to fail or afraid how people will perceive them. I want to work with someone who's like, yeah, let's try it. Who cares if we fail? Who cares if we look stupid? That's the thing. It's like you are really untouchable when you can hear someone tell you how stupid you look or how embarrassing you looked in that video and truly not care. Y'all, 5 years ago, I was a girl who was so afraid of not being liked. I mean, truly, like my fear of being unliked kept me from trying so many things. And it was over the course of the past 3 years, really ever since I got with my husband, I somehow found this thing inside of me that was just like, you think I'm stupid, you don't like what I do, you have something to say, great, keep talking, you know? In a way, when someone makes fun of me, it just makes me want to double down more. You know what I mean? It just makes me want to be like, yeah, okay, bet. You know, like, let's go. So maybe the rest of this year, we can all focus on how can we stretch ourselves? How can we challenge ourselves? How can we take one risk each day, even if it's super small, that puts us in a position to possibly fail or look stupid? Because it's in those positions that we are actually able to attract opportunities that'll allow us to level up. So I know that was a bit of a tangent, but I really wanted to share with y'all. I know I make all of these motivational videos, but really, the biggest win you can have for this year is if you've transformed and if you've changed. So I'm going to go ahead and link that Substack that I wrote. I always have my Substack linked in the description, but I'm going to link the Substack that I wrote about the first trimester next week. I know there are a lot of new subscribers to this channel. Thank you so much for joining us, who subscribed from our pregnancy video. And I really want to keep sharing soon to be mom content, pregnancy content, just being honest about this journey, because I feel like the more we share as women, the scarier it is and the less alone we feel. So I'm going to link that specific Substack in the bio. I hope all of y'all have a wonderful November. If you're new to the channel, don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss a future episode. And I'll see y'all next time.